The organization is not just for the bourgeois, it's not just for the big. I want to be able to touch the lives of those selling akara. Brand them, teach them what to do, how, brand strategies and every other thing that is needed to be able to grow. The barber and the rest of it. So many have talked about customer service, very, very important. So it's not just owning a business. How do you continue to grow? How can you grow to become Apple? How can you become, Samsung? Even our brothers here, Koskaris and the rest of it. There are things that they have done over the years. He talks about character. He talks about, those soft skills, empathy and all that is lacking in so many of us in Nigeria. As the former chairman of Nigerians in diaspora, I work with a lot of youths in Nigeria, both in person and also virtual. I decided to, look into so many event places. I will not mention them. And we wanted to do it last year, but a lot of things, logistics and all that. Do that.
The soft skills make or break everything else. If someone's mind isn't transformed and you give the person management skills, all kinds of things, they will use it negatively. It's so important to work on self-leadership and how people's minds work. So I spend a lot of time doing a mind reset on being purpose-driven and then helping them see that being purpose-driven actually, in fact, there's research that shows that purpose-driven companies make 3 times as much money as profit-driven companies. So it's very important. Many Nigerians have been educated in a warped way. The majority of the role models are not very good. So it's not surprising that people have to be reoriented. Now, regarding skills development, to be fair to the government, at least Lagos State, there's a lot going on. One can now say, is it being well done, or are they following up enough? Because if you train a poor man only knows poor people. It's difficult for him to actually have access to markets. So those people who are trained have to be linked. So if, for example, I train people in construction skills training, you a good carpenter, you a good plumber, you a good tiler, those people will not come out of poverty, because if they come to my house or to your house, you will tell them no thank you. Why? Security concerns. Okay? But if I start a company and I say to all of you here, if you have any issues, we can fix it. Funding, if you ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'll name 2: adaptability, innovation. So when I came into the Niger Delta, obviously in the Gambia, it's so peaceful that we never had those issues. But I had to learn. So that's what entrepreneurs do. So one of the things we did in the Gambia, I have some community contractors, people who came from Okrika. So one of the sustainable development goals is about engaging the community.
I've talked about the fundamental flaw in our education. Is this that everybody must have a degree, and no matter what the degree is to elevate every profession. The other part of it, the practical experience, and when we started trying to get young people to come in, especially the men, they said, you will not get them. Why don't you have people doing tasks? okay, they will never come. But as you probed it in, they said they will prefer to drive keke, which is true. But when they drive keke, at the end of the day, they get $500, 500 naira or 1,000 naira. That solves the daily, that need. If we are going to do this, you really have to get into the needs. So when I talked to the guy that learned electricians, you are going to train them for 3 years. How much do you pay them? I'm training them. But what about if after the first year, they now serve as part of their journey people and you give them pocket money? That's how we solve that. Some of them don't have transport money. You need to think about if they are making 2 drops to get to that school, they are not going to be in school unless someone thinks about how to get there. So if we're going to get this, it has to be a comprehensive look at the issue, think about the investment that needs to be made, and after those people are done, how do we guarantee that you don't take them for granted when they come to my house, whatever I want to pay? They've screened them. They've screened their skill set. They send you 3 or 4 people that comes in and they give you their quote. So we have to elevate that. Dealt with the problem. I mean, you get people, you pre-sell houses, you don't jump and put all the money you have into infrastructure. As people see their building getting to the little level, are willing to pay the next level, and they finance you literally. And so that thinking, oh, I needed to have had $1 billion before I started this, is dealt with. But very quickly, the point about neuroscience and all of that, it matters. Hetty talked about the mind as a person, you know, really, how do you achieve? But very importantly, we've got to solve their problem, just as, again, I think Mustafa just said, look at what the bottlenecks are, Nadine also said it, and intervene in a way that facilitates. There's an approach, there's a tripartite approach to development. Conference in Nairobi in 1985, sponsored by the African Foundation, dealt with it. How does the public sector, the private sector, and the so-called NGO sector, if you want to call it that, back those days they called them BD, and the private sector, that things that government will do much better. There has to be a collaboration of all of these people in a holistic way, and that can solve many of these problems.
It echoes exactly what Prof just said, which is, for me, I think of government's role as clarity and a cohesive strategy, right? So if I think about different ecosystems in the world that seems to attract development and capital, we all know if you want to go to the hotbed of finance, you go to Wall Street in New York. And that clarity has now same thing. We all know that if you want to make a world-class movie, you go to Hollywood, right? And all the actors, the producers, the movie studios can now coalesce around that. And to be honest, I would say the same thing has happened here in Nigeria. There's a very popular case study about Paystack, which sold for a few years ago for $200 million. And that's on the back of a lot of cohesive strategy from the Nigerian Central Bank over the last 15 to 20 years around agency banking. Nigeria has one of the most advanced banking.
Yeah, I say thank you for taking out your time to attend this August occasion, particularly those who of minds would have been changed to reset towards entrepreneurship. If no other person, I think I am almost a disciple now, and I'm going to go back and view these sessions.
If we not be men we sabi, we no go vote any other person. We no go vote. If we not be PDP, we no go vote any other party. We no go vote. That's why he go down. Now him go lead us to the promised land. That's why he go down for governor. Okay, na correct man we sabi. Deputy material 1 million yards. He go follow lead us to the promised land. With Aswa Yodalu, he sure for us. Aye, 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 aye,